Hey guys, welcome to Boxing Squared for boxing news and views from around the internet. And another news and notes mashup for you. So starting with French heavyweight Tony Yoka, the undefeated Tony Yoka, who has announced on his social media that he's set to return to the ring in January. So see here on screen his post from social media. And I don't speak French, so I will be getting to a translation page. See here on screen. We will meet again on January 15, 2022 at the Accor Hotel Arena in Paris for my next fight. I will announce my opponent in the coming days. And certainly there has been word that, or rumours floating around that Yoka was going to be back in December, but no, in January from his own account. And the opponent seemingly is going to be Martin Bakole, but not official. But Martin Bakole's trainer, Billy Nelson, has confirmed in recent days that Bakole has accepted a fight with Tony Yoka, and he says here to Sky Sports, we're just waiting on confirmation. Going on to say, we want a breakthrough fight for Martin. And Nelson insisted Bakole had no hesitation to accept a fight with Yoka, none whatsoever. Martin will go over there and knock him out, I believe. And actually, it's a really good fight. I mean, certainly Bakole has been looking for a breakthrough fight, as has been suggested by Martin, but he certainly could have taken one against Filip Hrgović, but perhaps for whatever reason they didn't like that fight, but more willing to take this one. There are questions about Tony Yoka and his chin, but certainly Yoka, I think, is the favourite for this fight, and based on recent form, he's been looking pretty good. He looked good against Peter Milas, and I think his movement, his lateral movement, his speed and quickness would be troublesome for Bakole. And from what we've seen in some recent fights, in particular against Sergey Kuzmin, Bakole can fight on the outside, but apart from that, he doesn't have much of an inside game, and when he is on the inside, he's really looking to sort of take a bit of a rest. So we'll have to see if this gets announced, but if it does, certainly for me, Tony Yoka starts as a hot favourite. But Bakole, he is a big puncher. He's certainly in this fight, but it's not quite a 50-50 in my mind, more of a sort of 60-40, 65-35, something like that. But it is interesting, willing to face Yoka, but apparently not interested in Filip Hrgović. Make of that what you will. Someone else who's had a fight announced is Jared Anderson. So he is set to face Oleksandr Teslenko, and that will be on the Lomachenko and Richard Comey undercard on the 11th of December. So this is going to be at Madison Square Garden, and you can see here on screen the promo poster and Anderson saying, late nights and bright lights, mama, we co-main at Madison Square Garden. We're about to turn out the MSG. So he's facing Oleksandr Teslenko. So Teslenko has one defeat on his record. That was an unexpected loss to Shondell Winters. That was all the way back in 2019 now. So more than 2 years ago, just the one fight since against Cesar David Krenz, and that was... what was it, in June, and that was on a card, I believe it was an Alexander Usyk promoted card, an Usyk 17 card that was in Ukraine. So just one tune-up. So you have to ask the question, and that was against a low-level opponent, why take this fight? He's sort of jumping straight back into the sort of fire here against Jared Anderson, who really is one of the best, if not the best, heavyweight prospect coming through right now. And I don't mean of those guys like Yoka, Hrgović, because they're sort of more in that fringe contender category in my mind now, but of those prospects that have, about 10 fights or less that have sort of been coming through in the past 2 years, Anderson is the guy for me that has certainly been making the biggest waves. He's been having some really good sort of step-up fights, those incremental steps that you want to give. He's had some tests that he's passed against guys who've looked good against others. He put in a really good performance against Kingsley EBay, and more recently he stopped Vladimir Tereshkin, and that was a pretty impressive performance. Showcase fight nonetheless, but he did his job in that one. And here, this is quite interesting because I think in terms of Oleksandr Teslenko, who was once seen as a pretty decent prospect, Not necessarily among the top tier, but he was a guy that was talked about a bit as good skills, decent power, decent technician, but certainly he took that loss. Sort of wheels have fallen off. So I don't know if this is sort of cashing in, taking a payday and just sort of sail off into the sunset afterwards, or whether he believes he can actually win this fight. Because if he comes with ambition, he might be able to give Jared Anderson some tricky and tough rounds early on. But still, Jared Anderson, for me, is going to win this fight against Oleksandr Teslenko. He is really a blue-chip prospect, Anderson, early 20s, unbeaten. They're stepping up nicely. I like what they're doing with him, and I think he's too much for Oleksandr Teslenko. Moving on, Adam Kownacki has reflected on the past couple of years in his life on a post on social media. See here on screen, at 32, I'm at the crossroads of my career. The last 2 years were full of emotions. From the most joyous in having my 2 sons born to the most painful in losing, mostly playing my hand well, now waiting on the river. I'm all in. See you in 2022. So using a bit of a poker analogy there, but interesting times for Adam Kownacki in his career and the what next, because he's faced most of the guys in the PBC stable, coming off 2 consecutive losses to Robert Helenius. Where does he go from here? It looked at one point that he was a shoo-in for a title shot at some point. Seems to have gone up in smoke. So I will cover that off, his chances, prospects, what next, in another video at some point. And I've been saying that for a little while. I will get to it. Trust me, I will get to it. Zhan Kossobutskiy, 16-0, is returning to the ring on the 20th of November. This is on a Universum box promotion card in Germany. So this card will be streamed on Universum's YouTube channel, which is good news because sometimes their cards have been shown on Fight TV. Obviously, a cost involved with that. But this card with Kossobutskiy, no opponent confirmed yet. You also got a couple of other heavyweights on the card, Senad Gashi and also Jose Lardaway. So they're calling it the return of the heavyweights, and actually with 3 heavyweights, I guess they can. But the rest of the card, you've got a few other names, not in the heavyweight division, but should shape as a decent sort of event, especially considering it's a little bit thin this weekend, apart from obviously the Canelo and Plant event. Daniel Dubois has been training with Demsey Mckean, and Mckean is on this sort of trip, not a trip, I guess. He's moved full-time to the United Kingdom to gain experience, further his heavyweight career, and he's been out in the Dillian White camp in Portugal. He's obviously had rounds with Anthony Joshua in his training camp, now working with Daniel Dubois, so he's getting some really good experience, and there has been talk for some time that Mckean will be having a fight soon. What's happening, it's sort of dried up in terms of information, but hopefully by the end of the year he's going to get something in. And Dubois, he is set to return to the ring soon. There has been talk that he's going on to be on that Jake Paul, Tommy Fury undercard. And moving to something a little bit different. So, press release for the #1 amateur super heavyweight, Fernley Feliz Jr. So he's announced that he has signed a long-term promotional agreement with Bulldog Promotions, and that his first professional fight is scheduled for Saturday, November 2021 at the Crown Reef Resort in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. So this is him here. So we'll just scroll down. So some of the quotes here, he says, "Thank you to everyone. This is amazing. My team did a hell of a job putting this together. I like to see all the youth out to support me. That's my dream. I fight for the youth of my community to lead by example. I never thought I'd be getting paid to go to the gym and box. You can do whatever you want to do. It's an honor to have Glover here, not just because he's a champion. His journey is so inspiring to me. He gave me my first trunks when I was 7. Watching this man." Okay, so anyway, so speaking on his pro debut coming up, and obviously some of his history and where he's come from. So this will be interesting to see this young heavyweight coming through the ranks here. So Fernley Feliz Jr., don't know too much about him, but I saw this press release drop into my inbox. I thought, well, let's just talk about it a little bit. And Trevor Bryan, the WBA regular champion. So he is signaling that he's coming back to the ring soon. It seems to be he's sort of throwing out these hints and we're not really getting much. "You're ready. Time to be big mad again because I'm ready to entertain," and a bunch of hashtags and all sorts. But ending this video, so Trevor Bryan with some sort of motivational words. And actually, he can speak well when he wants to.
Hey, good morning, and grand rising to all. It's Trevor Bryan Jr., WBA heavyweight champion, and I got a morning message for you guys. Anything worth working hard for, anything worth pursuing, it takes time. Patience is the key. You keep working, keep striving, and make your days count. It will come true. Make your dreams into reality. It's the champ says so. Let's go, champ.